Admiral Sam Bradley stood on the bridge of the battleship Terra's Pride, watching 600 human ships prepare for their first battle in 25 years. Operation Redemption was the largest military force humanity had ever assembled. "Admiral," said Captain Lisa Turner, "we are receiving a transmission from the Xanthari fleet." The screen showed Fleet Admiral Koth Rex. Behind him, Sam could see the remains of what had once been a proud alien fleet. Half the ships were damaged. The crews looked exhausted and afraid. "Admiral Bradley," Koth Rex said, "thank you for coming. But I must warn you, these devourers fight like nothing we have ever seen." Sam nodded. "We have studied the battle reports. We know what we are facing." "Do you?" Koth Rex asked. "They do not surrender. They do not retreat. They convert our people into more of themselves. They are not just an army. They are a disease." "We have fought diseases before," Sam said. "Sometimes the cure is not pleasant, but it works." The human fleet moved toward Xanthari Prime, the capital world of the alien empire. The Devourers had surrounded the planet with thousands of their black ships. They were not attacking yet. They wanted the defenders to see how hopeless the situation was. Colonel Ashley Morgan led the first human ground forces to land on an occupied world. The planet Theta 7 had been taken by the Devourers 3 weeks ago. Ashley's mission was to learn how to fight them on the ground. What she found was worse than the reports had described. The Devourers had not just conquered the population. They had changed them. Former Xanthari civilians now looked like twisted versions of themselves, with black metal growing from their skin. "Ma'am," said Sergeant Mike Davis, "they are still alive in there. I can see it in their eyes." Ashley studied the converted aliens through her binoculars. Mike was right. Deep inside the black metal shells, the original people were still aware. They were trapped in their own bodies, forced. Watch as they attacked their former friends. "Change of tactics," Ashley said into her radio. "We are not fighting robots. We are fighting prisoners. Every shot you take is a mercy." This was the kind of war humans understood. Not a game with rules, but a fight against something that had to be stopped no matter the cost. The human soldiers moved through the ruined city like ghosts. They used the Devourers' own propaganda against them. When the enemy broadcast the screams of their victims, the humans used those sounds to track where the command centers were hidden. Ashley found something the aliens had missed. The converted people could still be reached. When she spoke to them, in their own language, some of them fought against their programming. For just a moment, they remembered who they used to be. "Base, this is Colonel Morgan," she reported. "The conversion process is not perfect. We can use that." Meanwhile, in space, Commander Tyler Roberts coordinated the defense of Gateway Station, the galaxy's most important trade hub. The station was huge, with millions of people inside. If it fell, the Devourers would control all travel between the galactic arms. Tyler worked with both human and alien officers. For the first time in 25 years, the species were fighting together, but the aliens had to learn a new way of war. "Captain Victor," Tyler said to a Xanthari officer, "your ships are staying too far back." "We do not want to risk unnecessary casualties," Victor replied. "There are no unnecessary casualties in this war," Tyler said. "Every ship we lose slowly is a ship they can convert. We hit them fast and hard, or we lose everything." The Xanthari captain looked uncomfortable, but he moved his ships forward. When the Devourers attacked, the aliens finally saw what human-style warfare looked like. Human ships did not try to disable the enemy. They destroyed them completely. When a Devourer vessel tried to ram a human cruiser, the human captain detonated his own ship to take out 3 enemy vessels. The alien crews watched in amazement and horror. The turning point came during the siege of Gateway Station. A group of Devourers broke through the main defense line. They were heading for the civilian areas where families were hiding. Sergeant Danny Clark volunteered for a mission that everyone knew was suicide. He would take a small ship loaded with explosives and destroy the dimensional bridge that was bringing in more enemy ships. "Sir," Danny told Commander Roberts, "I have a wife and kids back on Earth. I am not doing this because I want to die. I am doing this so they can live." Tyler watched as Danny's ship flew straight into the heart of the enemy formation. The young sergeant was singing an old Earth song as his ship disappeared in a ball of light. The dimensional bridge collapsed, taking half the Devourer fleet with it. The explosion was broadcast across the galaxy. Alien civilians who had never understood human behavior finally began to see what drove them. Danny had not died for glory or honor. He had died for love. Admiral Bradley led the final battle at the Nexus system, where humanity had first been banned from warfare 25 years ago. The Devourer mothership was there, a massive vessel the size of a small moon. It was converting entire asteroids into more ships. "All vessels," Bradley announced on the fleet channel. "This is not about winning territory. This is not about proving we are strong. This is about making sure there is still a galaxy for our children to grow up in." The human fleet attacked in ways the Devourers had never seen. Some ships acted as decoys, while others struck from unexpected angles. Human commanders sacrificed their vessels to save alien crews. Human soldiers shared their food with alien refugees. Captain Lisa Turner commanded the cruiser New Hope. When her ship was badly damaged, she could have retreated. Instead, she ordered all power to the engines and flew directly into the mothership's core. Her last message was heard across the fleet. "Tell my children I love them. Tell them their mother died free." The mothership exploded like a dying star. With it died the central intelligence that controlled all the Devourers. The remaining enemy ships stopped moving and drifted in space like empty shells. The war was over. 5 years later, Ambassador Gary Foster, President Foster's son, stood before the rebuilt Galactic Council. The ban on human participation in warfare had not just been lifted, it had been replaced with something no one could have imagined. The Human Protection Act, Gary read from the official document, establishes humanity as the military defenders of the galactic community. Human officers will train all species in effective combat doctrine. Human bases will be established in every sector to respond to threats. Chancellor Vextar, now an old friend of humanity, spoke for the alien races. "We learned too late that peace must be protected by those willing to fight for it. We mistook human strength for savagery. We were wrong. The galaxy had learned hard lessons about the price of freedom. War was still the last choice, but when it came, the galaxy was ready. Human military schools trained alien cadets in the realities. Their species had forgotten that. The ceremony ended at the memorial on Centauri Prime. The names of all who had died in the Devourer War scrolled endlessly on a wall of light. Human names mixed with alien ones. They had died together, fighting for the same cause. Chancellor Vextar read the memorial inscription. "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." In the memorial gardens, children from dozens of species played, together under the protection of those who understood that some things were worth fighting for. The galaxy was at peace again, but it was a peace that was earned, not given. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. They had saved it, and in doing so, they had proven that being good at war did not make you a monster. Sometimes it made you a guardian. The galaxy would never again mistake strength for savagery, or peace for weakness. They had learned what humans had always known, that the only way to keep peace is to be ready for war. And they were ready. General Robert Kane sat in his hidden base on Europa, watching alien news broadcasts. What he saw made his blood run cold. The Threxian homeworld was burning. "Sir," said Sergeant Danny Clark, "are we really seeing this?" Robert nodded grimly. The video showed cities on fire. Ships in space were not fighting by the old rules. They were being torn apart by weapons that seemed to eat metal and energy. "Who are they fighting?" Danny asked. "Something new," Robert said. "Something that does not play games. The aliens on the news were calling them Devourers." Robert thought that was a good name. The enemy ships looked like giant insects made of black metal. They moved in swarms, not formations. They did not aim for engines or weapons. They aimed to kill. More reports came in every hour. The Corvin military base at Rigel 7 was gone. The Xanthari trading post at Wolf 359 had stopped sending messages. Everywhere the Devourers went, they left nothing alive. Captain Tony Martinez was humanity's best spy. He had lived among aliens for 15 years. His face had been changed by surgery to look like a Xanthari. He spoke their language perfectly. Now Tony was on the Xanthari capital world, watching their military try to understand what they faced. Fleet Admiral Kothrex stood before a room full of officers. His gray skin was pale with fear. "The enemy does not respond to our communications," he said. "They do not want territory or resources. They only want to destroy." A young officer raised his hand. "Sir, perhaps we should try stronger diplomacy. Send more ambassadors." "We sent 12 ambassador ships," Kothrex replied. "The enemy broadcast their deaths across subspace. They wanted us to watch our people die. Tony recorded everything on a hidden device. He sent the information back to Earth using quantum encryption. What he learned was worse than anyone had imagined. The Devourers were not just conquerors. They were a plague. Every person they captured became one of them. Every world they took made them stronger. They grew with each victory. On the Corvin, homeworld, General Crix tried to organize a defense. But his people had forgotten how to fight real wars. They kept trying to follow the old rules. "Sir," said his aide, "should we target their weapon systems?" "No," Crix shouted. "Target their cores. Kill them all." His soldiers looked shocked. They had never been ordered to kill before. War was supposed to be about honor, not death. First battle between the Corvins and the Devourers lasted 30 minutes. The Corvins lost 90% of their fleet. The survivors ran home with stories of an enemy that showed no mercy. Chancellor Vextar of the Xanthari called an emergency meeting of the Galactic Council. But this time, fewer representatives came. Some species were already extinct. Others were too busy running away to attend meetings. "Fellow beings," Vextar said, "we face the greatest threat in galactic history." The few aliens who remained looked terrified. They had never seen real war before. They did not know how to fight an enemy that wanted them dead. "What do they want?" asked Delegate Tholran of the Threxians. "Everything," Vextar said. "They want our worlds, our ships, our people, and they want to turn us into more of them." "Then we negotiate," said General Crix. "We offer them half the galaxy. Surely they will accept a reasonable compromise." Vextar shook his head. "They do not negotiate." "We tried." They responded by broadcasting the torture of our diplomats. The room fell silent. These aliens had lived in peace for thousands of years. They had forgotten that some enemies could not be reasoned with. On Earth, President Ellen Foster watched the reports with her cabinet. The alien news showed millions of refugees fleeing their homeworlds. Ships packed with civilians wandered through space, looking for somewhere safe. "Ma'am," said Defense Secretary Gary Morton, "our deep cover agents report that the alien military is in complete chaos. They do not know how to fight this enemy." President Foster felt sick. She had watched the videos of Devourer attacks. She had seen entire populations consumed. Children turned into monsters. Cities dissolved by weapons that fed on matter itself. How long before they reach Earth? She asked. If they continue at their current pace, said Admiral Sam Bradley, 18 months. Maybe less if they learn to move faster. The president looked around the room at her advisors. These people had spent 25 years preparing for the day when the alien ban might be lifted. None of them had imagined it would happen like this. Ma'am, said Secretary of State Lisa Turner, we have received a transmission from the Galactic Council. Put it through, the president said. The screen showed Chancellor Vextar. He looked like he had aged years in the past few weeks. His proud bearing was gone. Now he just looked scared and desperate. President Foster, he said, I come to you with a request that shamus my people. Ellen leaned forward. Go on. We need your help, Maxtar said. The words seemed to hurt him. The Devourers are destroying everything we have built. Our way of warfare is useless against them. What about the ban? Ellen asked. 25 years ago, you said humans were too primitive to fight alongside civilized species. Vextar closed his eyes. We were wrong. You tried to warn us that war was not a game. We did not listen. Now our children are paying the price for our pride. Ellen felt a mixture of anger and sadness. The aliens had insulted humanity for a generation. They had called humans monsters for understanding that war was hell. Now they wanted human help to fight real monsters. Why should we help you? Asked Defense Secretary Morton. You banned us. You called us savages. Because, Vextar said, if we fall, you are next. The Devourers will not stop at the galactic core. They will come for your solar system too. President Foster knew he was right. Evil that was not stopped would always spread. The question was whether humanity should risk their lives for people who had rejected them. I need to discuss this with my people, Ellen said. Please hurry, Vextar begged. We do not have much time. The screen went dark. Ellen looked around the room at faces she had known for years. These people had served humanity faithfully through good times and bad. Opinions? She asked. Senator Chris Murphy spoke first. Let them burn. They made their choice when they banned us. Why should human soldiers die for aliens who hate us? Because that is what humans do, said Admiral Bradley. We help people who need help, even if they do not deserve it. General Patricia Lewis nodded. The Devourers are not just an alien problem. They are a threat to all life. If we let them win, Earth will be next. President Foster thought about her children and grandchildren. She thought about the millions of people on Earth who trusted her to keep them safe. She thought about the alien children she had seen in the refugee videos. We are not warriors because we love war, she said finally. We are warriors because we love peace enough to fight for it. She turned to Admiral Bradley. Prepare the fleet. All of it? Ma'am, said Secretary Morton, the aliens might see this as an invasion. Then we will explain it to them, Ellen said. With words if they listen, with actions if they do not. The order went out across the solar system. For the first time in 25 years, the human military was going to war. Not for conquest or glory, but for the right of all thinking beings to exist. The galaxy was about to learn what humans could do when they fought not just for themselves, but for others. 25 years had passed since the galaxy banned humanity from war. Captain Maria Santos stood in the command center of the Sol Defense Network, looking at screens that showed every ship in the solar system. Earth was different now. The planet had become a fortress. Huge space stations orbited around it like metal moons. Weapon platforms floated between Mars and Jupiter. If anyone wanted to attack Earth, they would face the strongest defenses in the galaxy. Captain, said Lieutenant Tom Bradley, we have a message from the research station on Europa. Maria nodded. Europa was one of Jupiter's moons. Dr. Alex Turner worked there with his team of scientists. They had been very busy for 25 years. The screen showed Alex's face. He looked tired but excited. "Maria, you need to see what we have built." Maria had known Alex since they were children. He was one of the smartest people she had ever met. When the aliens cut off trade with humanity, Alex had made it his mission to build better technology than theirs. "What is it this time, Alex?" Maria asked. "We finished reverse engineering that Xanthari shield generator we captured years ago," Alex said. "But we did not just copy it. We made it better." Maria smiled. This was typical Alex. He never just copied alien technology. He always improved it. "How much better?" she asked. 3 times stronger and half the size," Alex said proudly. "Want to see?" Maria said yes. The screen showed Alex's laboratory. In the center was a device the size of a refrigerator. Around it, powerful weapons were firing energy beams. But the beams could not get through the shield. The aliens used crystal-based technology, Alex explained. "We use quantum-engineered metals. Our approach is completely different, but much more effective." Maria was impressed, but not surprised. Humans had always been good at taking ideas and making them better. The aliens had given humanity their technology, hoping to make friends. Now that same technology protected Earth from those same aliens. "Any word from our agents in alien space?" Maria asked. "Some news," Alex said. His face became serious. "Our deep cover people report something strange happening at the edge of the galaxy." Maria leaned forward. Humanity had spies in alien territory. They looked like aliens using special surgery and technology. It was dangerous work, but it gave Earth important information. "What kind of strange?" Maria asked. "Ships disappearing. Entire colonies going quiet. The aliens think it is just equipment failure or pirates. But you think it is something else?" "I think something is coming," Alex said. "Something the aliens have never seen before." Maria felt a chill. The galaxy had been peaceful for 25 years. The aliens fought their polite little wars. No one really got hurt. It was like children playing with toy soldiers. But Maria remembered the stories her grandfather told about real wars on Earth. Wars where entire countries disappeared. Wars where people fought for survival, not for points in a game. "Keep monitoring the situation," Maria told Alex, "and keep working on our defenses." Meanwhile, on a training base on Mars, Commander Nicole Adams was teaching a new group of soldiers. These young men and women had been born after the ban. They had never seen an alien except in pictures. "Today we study the Battle of Stalingrad," Nicole announced to her class. A young soldier named Private Jake Cooper raised his hand. "Why do we study old Earth battles?" "We are never allowed to fight aliens," Nicole smiled sadly. Jake was 19 years old. He had grown up thinking humanity would always be banned from war. "Because," Nicole said, "someday that might change. And when it does, we need to be ready." She turned on a hologram that showed a frozen city. Snow covered everything. Buildings were broken and burning. Stalingrad was fought during World War II, Nicole said. The enemy wanted to capture the city. They thought it would be easy. They were wrong. The hologram showed soldiers fighting in the ruins. They used every building as a fortress. They fought for every street, every room, every staircase. "The battle lasted 6 months," Nicole continued. "Both sides lost hundreds of thousands of soldiers. But the defenders never gave up. They knew that if they lost, their families would die." Private Cooper looked confused. Why did they not surrender? Why did they not negotiate? Nicole shook her head. Because their enemy was not interested in negotiation. Some enemies only understand force. She showed them other battles from Earth's history. The Alamo, where brave men died to buy time for, others to escape. D-Day, where soldiers charged into certain death to free enslaved peoples. Thermopylae, where 300 warriors held off an army of thousands. Humans have always known that some things are worth dying for, Nicole said. Freedom, family, the right to exist. The aliens forgot this. They think war is about winning resources or proving who is stronger. But we are banned from fighting, said another soldier, Private Amy Chun. For now, Nicole said, but bans can be lifted. And when they are, humanity needs to remember what we are capable of. Far from Earth, in alien space, the galaxy was indeed peaceful. The Corvin-Threxian border dispute was happening again. It happened every year at the same time. General Crix of the Corvins met General Veltar of the Threxians at the agreed battle site. They shook hands like old friends. Ready for another good war? Crix asked. Always, Veltar replied. Same rules as last year? Of course. We fight from 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. Lunch break at noon. No aiming for crew. Compartments. First side to lose 5 ships surrenders. The two generals smiled. This was how civilized beings conducted war. Clean, safe, and predictable. The battle began exactly at 9 o'clock. Both fleets moved in perfect formations. They fired at each other's engines and weapons. When a ship was disabled, it was marked as destroyed and left the battle dot at noon. Both fleets stopped fighting. The crews had lunch together on a neutral station. They talked about their families and shared pictures of their children. Your son is getting big, Crix told Veltar. Thank you. He wants to be a pilot like his father. Maybe he will fight my son someday, Crix said, in a nice, clean war like this one. At 1 o'clock, they went back to fighting. By 5 o'clock, the Corvins had lost 5 ships. General Crix surrendered with honor. Well fought, Veltar said. Same time next year? Would not miss it, Crix replied. This was war in the civilized galaxy. No one died. No one was really hurt. Everyone went home to their families. But at the edge of the galaxy, something watched. Something that did not understand rules or honor or surrender. Something that saw the peaceful aliens and thought only one word, pray. On Earth, Lieutenant. General Paul Clark received a coded message from Agent Sandra Hill, one of their deep cover spies. The message was short but terrifying. 3 star systems have gone completely dark. No communications, no survivors. Whatever did this is heading toward the core worlds. The aliens still think it is just pirates. Paul forwarded the message to Earth's government. President Ellen Foster read it in her office in Washington, D.C. She had been president for 10 years. She had always hoped the alien ban would be lifted. Peacefully. Now, she wondered if peace was about to end for everyone. She called a meeting of her top advisors. If something is really coming, she told them, the aliens will need our help whether they want it or not. The ban still stands, reminded Secretary of Defense Gary Morton. If we send ships into alien space, they will consider it an act of war. Even if we are trying to help them? President Foster asked. Especially then, Gary said. They are too proud to admit they might need the primitive humans. President Foster looked out her window at the night sky. Somewhere out there, something dangerous was coming. And the galaxy's protectors still thought war was a gentleman's game. Soon, they would learn the difference between playing at war and fighting for survival. The question was whether they would learn in time. 6 months after the Kepler conflict, Ambassador Lisa Grant walked into the biggest meeting room she had ever seen. The walls were made of crystal that showed the stars outside. Hundreds of alien beings sat in chairs that floated in the air. This was the Galactic Council on Nexus Prime. Lisa had been to council meetings before, but never one this big. She wondered why so many aliens had come. Lisa wore her best blue suit. She wanted to look professional. She represented all of humanity today. But she did not know what the meeting was really about. "The emergency session will now begin," said a voice that came from everywhere at once. "We are here to discuss the human problem." Lisa felt her stomach drop. Problem? What problem? A tall, thin alien stood up. Lisa knew him. This was Chancellor Vextar of the Xanthari Empire. His gray skin looked pale, and his dark eyes were full of anger. "Fellow beings of the galaxy," Vextar said, "we face a threat unlike any we have known. The humans must be stopped." Lisa stood up quickly. "Wait a minute. What threat? Humans have never attacked anyone who did not attack us first." Vextar pointed a long finger at her. "That is exactly the problem. You fight back." The room was quiet. Lisa looked around at hundreds of alien faces. They all looked scared or angry. She did not understand why. A screen appeared in the air. It showed video from the Kepler battle. Lisa watched human ships attacking alien vessels. She saw the mining ships being used as weapons. She saw human soldiers who kept fighting even when they were hurt. "Look at this madness," Vextar said. "They ignore all the rules of civilized warfare. They aim to kill, not to disable. They use civilian ships as weapons. They refuse to surrender even when they should." Another alien stood up. This one was short and round with blue skin. Lisa had never seen his species before. "I am Delegate Tholron of the Threxian Republic," he said. "In our 10,000 years of history, we have fought many wars, but never like this, never with such violence." Lisa shook her head. "Violence? It was a battle. People die in battles." "No," said Tholren. "People surrender in battles. People negotiate. People follow the rules that keep war civilized." "A new voice called out, 'Bring in the human expert.'" Lisa turned to see Dr. Kevin Ross walking into the room. Kevin was a military historian from Earth. He studied old wars and battles. Lisa was glad to see a friendly face. "Dr. Ross," said Vextar, "please tell the council about human warfare." Kevin looked nervous. He stood at a podium in the center of the room. "Well, humans have fought many wars throughout our history. We have learned that war is terrible, but sometimes necessary." "Tell them about your World War II," Vextar said. Kevin nodded. "World War II lasted 6 years. 60 million. People died. Entire cities were destroyed. Civilians became soldiers. Everyone fought. The aliens made sounds of horror. Some covered their faces. Others looked sick." 60 million? Whispered Tholren. "In one war?" "Yes," Kevin said. "But we were fighting evil. Sometimes you have to do terrible things to stop worse things from happening." An alien with purple skin and 4 arms stood up. "I am General Crix of the Corvin hegemony. We Corvins love battle. But even we have rules. We fight until one side yields. Then we stop. We do not destroy cities. We do not kill civilians." Kevin tried to explain. "But what if the enemy will not stop? What if they want to kill your children? What if surrender means slavery or death?" "Then you negotiate," said General Crix. "You find a compromise. War is not about destroying your enemy. It is about showing you are stronger." Lisa finally understood. These aliens had never fought a real war. They had never faced an enemy that wanted to wipe them out completely. They played at war like it was a sport. "You do not understand," Lisa said. "Humans fight hard because we fight for things that matter. We fight for our families. We fight for freedom. We fight because some things are worth dying for." "That is exactly why you are dangerous," said Vextar. "You think war is about principles. War should be about resources or territory, things you can share or trade. Admiral Ben Walker entered the room. He was the top military officer from Earth. He was old and had gray hair, but he stood straight and tall. "Admiral Walker," said Vextar, "explain to us why humans refuse to follow the accepted rules of warfare." Ben looked around the room. He saw fear in every alien face. "What rules?" he asked. "The rules that keep war civilized," said Thulran. "You must announce your attacks. You must aim for equipment, not people. You must accept surrender. You must treat prisoners well." Ben laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. "Those are not rules of war. Those are rules of a game. Real war is not a game." "Then what is it?" asked General Crix. "War is when everything you love is in danger," Ben said. "War is when you have to choose between being kind and keeping your people alive. War is hell, and anyone who thinks it should be polite has never really fought one." The aliens looked at each other. They whispered in their strange languages. Lisa could see they were making a decision. Vextar stood up again. "The Galactic Council has heard enough. We vote now on Resolution 23877. "What resolution?" Lisa asked. "The resolution to ban humanity from participating in any galactic conflicts," Vextar said. "You are too dangerous to be allowed to fight alongside civilized species." Lisa felt like she had been hit. "You cannot do that. We are part of the galactic community. You will remain in your solar system," said Thulran. "You may trade with us, but only through neutral stations. You may not join any military actions. You may not help any species in war." "This is crazy," Admiral Walker said. "You are punishing us for being good at protecting ourselves." "You are not protecting," said Vextar. "You are destroying. You turn war into slaughter. You make it about hate instead of honor." The vote was quick. Every species voted yes except humanity. The result was announced in dozens of languages. Resolution 23877 passes. Humanity is banned from galactic warfare until they can evolve beyond their primitive war mindset. Lisa felt tears in her eyes. "You are making a mistake. Someday you might need us." "We hope that day never comes," said Vextar. "But if it does, we will handle it the civilized way." As Lisa and the other humans left the council chamber, she heard the aliens already talking about their next war. It was scheduled for next month. Both sides would meet at an agreed location. They would fight for exactly 3 hours. The side with fewer damaged ships would surrender. Then everyone would go home. Lisa shook her head. These aliens had no idea what real war looked like. They lived in a galaxy where war was polite and death was rare. But galaxies could be dangerous places. And sometimes politeness was not enough. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the Defiant. He watched the stars through the big window. Today would change everything for humans in space. He did not know it yet. The year was 2387. Humans had been in space for 30 years now. They had met many alien races. Most of them were friendly, but some were not. "Captain," said Lieutenant Amy Carter from her station, "we have ships coming toward us. They look like Xanthari vessels." Jake nodded. The Xanthari were a proud race. They had gray skin and tall bodies. They thought they were better than everyone else. Next to them came the Corvin ships. The Corvins were big and strong. They loved to fight, but only in their own way. "How many ships?" Jake asked. 20 of theirs. "We have 8, Amy said. She did not sound worried. Humans were new to space war, but they learned fast. The communication screen lit up. A Xanthari face appeared. His name was Commander Ziegter. He had cold, dark eyes. "Human vessel, Ziegter," said in his strange voice. "You are in our space now." Leave, or we will make you leave. Jake smiled. This is not your space. The treaty says this area belongs to no one. Treaties can change, Ziegler said. We are stronger. We have more ships. You will go now. The screen went dark. Jake looked at his crew. They were all humans from Earth. They had trained together for years. They trusted each other. Amy? What? Do you think? Jake asked. Amy looked at her computer. Their ships are bigger than ours. They have better weapons. But they fight like it is a game. They follow rules. What rules? Asked Colonel Ryan Bell. He was the leader of the soldiers on the ship. They send messages before they attack. They aim for engines, not people. They stop fighting when someone gives up. They think war should be clean. Amy said. Jake laughed. They never fought humans before. The alien ships moved closer. They formed a perfect line. Each ship was the same distance from the others. It looked nice, but Jake knew it was not smart. All ships, this is Captain Morrison, Jake said into his radio. Remember what we learned. In training, these aliens fight like they are dancing. We fight to win. The Xanthari ships fired first. Blue beams of light shot toward the human ships. The beams hit the shields. Lights flashed, but no real damage was done. They are being gentle, Amy said. They want us to surrender, not die. Too bad for them, Jake said. Ryan, get your men ready. We might need to board their ships. Ryan smiled. He was a big man with scars on his face. He had fought in wars. On Earth, my boys are ready, Captain. We have been waiting for this. The human ships did not form a line. Instead, they spread out. Some went high, some went low. Others moved in circles. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Fire at will, Jake ordered. The human ships attacked from all sides. Their weapons were smaller, but they aimed for weak spots. They did not try to disable the alien ships. They tried to destroy them. One Xanthari ship exploded, then another. The aliens had never lost ships so fast. Captain, Amy said, they are sending a message. Commander Ziegler appeared on the screen again. This time he looked scared. Human ship, we call for a pause in fighting. We must talk about rules. What rules? Jake asked. The rules of war. You cannot attack without warning. You cannot aim to kill. You must give us time to surrender. Jake shook his head. There are no rules in war. There is only winning and losing. The screen went dark again. The alien ships tried to retreat, but the humans followed them. This was not how space wars were. Supposed to work. Amy had an idea. Captain, I see mining ships nearby. They have big drills and cutting tools. So? Jake asked. So we can use them as weapons. The aliens will never expect it. Jake grinned. Amy was smart. That was why he liked her. Do it. Amy sent messages to the mining ships. The miners were humans too. They understood. Soon, ships that were built to cut rocks were cutting alien ships instead. The Corvin ships tried to help the Xanthari, but they only knew how to fight one way. They charged straight ahead, expecting the humans to do the same. Instead, the humans scattered. They hit the Corvins from behind. They used the miners as shields. They did things that made no sense to alien minds. Colonel Ryan Bell took his soldiers to one of the damaged alien ships. They found the Corvin crew inside, waiting to surrender. Properly. We yield, the Corvin captain said. Take us prisoner according to the laws of war. Ryan looked confused. Laws of war? Yes, you must treat us well. You must feed us. You must let us call our families. Ryan laughed. This is war, not a hotel. The Corvins did not understand. In their culture, prisoners were guests. War was like a sport with rules everyone followed. But humans came from Earth. On Earth, War meant survival. It meant doing whatever it took to protect your people. It meant that sometimes good people had to do bad things. The battle lasted 3 hours. When it was over, 15 alien ships were destroyed or damaged. Only 2 human ships were lost. But that was not the worst part for the aliens. The worst part was that humans kept fighting even when they were hurt. When the human ship Courage lost its engines, the crew used escape pods as missiles. When Captain Lisa Turner was wounded, she stayed at her post until the battle was over. The aliens had never seen anything like it. They fought to win territory or resources. Humans fought like their children's lives depended on it. When the alien survivors were rescued, they told stories that scared their people. They said humans were crazy. They said humans did not fear death. They said humans would rather die than lose. The stories spread across the galaxy. Soon, every alien race knew about the humans and their strange way of fighting. Captain Jake Morrison did not know it, but he had just started something that would change the galaxy forever. The aliens would never forget what they learned that day. War was not a game, and humans were very, very good at it.